Hey babes, Yana J here, back with a new video. So should I get mine to share? Oh my god. Oh y'all, and that shrimp. Okay. Happy New Year to you all. Thank you for tuning into my channel. Now, my name is Yana J. Some of y'all may know me from ASI, my very original interview with Mr. Interviewer. This vlog is going to be just a little bit different. If you know me and you know my channel and you've been watching me since the very beginning, you should know my channel is mainly surrounded around healing and healing conversations and story times, okay? This is a video a lot of people that recognize me will probably say I should have already made or been made, but the timing of when we do things in our life is based upon when things feel right and in alignment for us. Nobody on the outside looking in can ever tell you anything about when timing is appropriate for you. That's between you, your higher self, and the Most High. Getting online and spilling my guts, spilling my thoughts and my feelings is very therapeutic to me. I've come a long way from having my throat chakra closed off, so I find it very expressive to have an open dialogue online, and I choose to have open diary moments, and I choose to share my thoughts here, and it creates a therapeutic moment for me. I've gone through a lot of things, you know, over the course of the last few years, and I think this week, for some reason, somehow, maybe it just could have been just everything, a happening of events happening that triggered this within me. Anything can trigger me at any moment. I just never know. Especially with me being someone who's gone through a lot of things in my life prior to these last few years. I have to tell y'all, and I've told y'all before, but not everybody listens. I am someone who has social anxiety, and it's also online as well. I'm a very to myself kind of person. I choose to operate in light and love by choice. That's just the frequency I decide to operate on. But every now and then again, like today, we're gonna have real transparent moments of just real talk and just realism. It's been argued a lot online as to, oh, a man can't make you have an abortion. It's a woman's choice, your body, your right. And this week has been very hard for me. It's been very challenging. When I say it's been a challenging week, I just mean on a personal level, just like waking up every day and just being as exuberant as I know myself to be. A bank full of money, account full of money. Happy, I'm good, I'm happy. Like, no complaints. It hasn't been fulfilling. And for me, that confirmed to me something much deeper is going on. A lot of times I do feel the weight of the universe, and I feel the energy of the universe and everything that we all have going on in this world, because I am spiritually connected. What if me carrying that child was a part of my purpose? And this part is probably for the women. If you're out there, and I had told this to the original person I reached out to many moons ago. I've had a rough week this week, and I've just been thinking, and I've just been reflecting and doing a lot of that lately. And I just want to say, a lot of people on my platform throughout the years have told me, you know, one day you might possibly regret that, having that abortion. You might possibly regret that. And my goal at the beginning of this was always to reach out to women who were in that same predicament of being with someone who wasn't willing to commit to you, wasn't ready to commit to you, and didn't have to commit to you by any means, but you happened to share a seed with them. And then came the ultimatum of having the child or not having the child. In my particular situation, I felt like I was manipulated, and I still stand by that. I know how to wear a poker face, but that doesn't mean that I'm not human. I still go through things and I still feel these emotions. And I guess this vlog is just for that today, to let y'all know I'm just a human. I'm just as human as anybody, and I still think about these things. And I do want to let y'all know, the people who reached out, not even the people that reached out, but the people that spoke on the fact that, you know, yo, one day you're gonna think about that. You're gonna think about that decision that you committed to of not bearing that child. And I do want to let y'all know, y'all are 1000% right. And at the time, I did not think that you guys were right until this day, this week. It's been days that I've reflected, like, maybe that child was a part of my purpose. Maybe things in my life right now would definitely be 1000% different had I, when I had that conversation with that man in that bed, and he told me that he wanted me to get an abortion, and he started talking to me through all of the things that can go wrong if I was to have that child, and what it would be like to be struggling, what it would be like to be a single mother, and all of those things. When that manipulation began, if I had just packed the one bag I had with what I had, and I just left that apartment and never looked back, and I told him, you know what, F you, I don't need you. The child is already in me. I don't need you. Forget what you say. What if I was, what if? I've been having a lot of what ifs. And that let me know that there's a void that will never be filled. There's a void that will never be filled. Even if I do plan on bearing more children in the future, when I am married and I am in a committed relationship that is loyal, that is real, that is authentic, there is a void within my soul that comes from carrying that child in my womb space. That's something that sits. That's something that you have to deal with God, and that's my biggest thing. Just want to know, how do you repent for something like that? Because time and time again, like, I wanted my child, but I have so much respect for a man, and like, I understand we make mistakes in life. We do make mistakes in life. Yeah, but my story is still my story, and it's still mine to tell, so I'm gonna tell it. And I didn't always have the right state of mind to do so, but I just want to let other women out there know. And maybe I honestly, I wasn't ready for a child. The real woman in me, I could have figured it out. And anybody out there that's in a situation like so, I want you to know you can figure it out on your own, regardless. When the facts are on the table, that pregnancy test is on the table, all of that changes. And this isn't no shade, no hate. This is just me telling my story, because this is what I went through. No, it's not at the time that y'all thought it would come, none of that. You know why? Because I was overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed with that. My biggest thing is the relationship that I have with God. Like, I just wish that I can just click my heels together one day and I can turn back the hands of time, which I know is impossible. And I know that, like, even just bearing another child isn't necessarily going to fill this void. So the best thing that I can do is repent, ask God for forgiveness, and I can help share my testimony so other women don't walk down that same path and make the same mistake. Who cares if the man's tell you he's not ready for a child, it will ruin his career, will ruin his whatever. It doesn't matter. If there's a child in you, there's a seed in you. No person walking this earth can tell you that you're not supposed to be carrying that seed. That seed might be a part of your purpose. You never know. You never fucking know. So you gotta see it through. Don't let no man manipulate you and tell you things, how hard it's gonna be, how many struggling mothers there is. I know a lot of struggling mothers that raise great children. But that conversation in itself, I kept telling people, like, I was manipulated because that's how I felt. That's still how I feel. At the time, I didn't have any older women to come to talk to, still to this day. Still to this day, the only people that I've talked to about this is social media. Like, my social media clan is the only people who fully know the depth of this weight on my own, and it gets hard to carry. It's a load to carry, and I want any woman out there that is going through something like that to understand you run for the hills. When a man starts to manipulate you and starts to tell you how hard it might be, or it's going to be hard to do it on your own, anything of that nature, if he's anything less than supportive, put your middle fingers in the air and you run for the hills. You run for the hills with your womb space, and you protect it with your whole life. I would have never ever did anything like that. Never. But the fact of the matter is, I believe in marriage, marry before carry. And I also know that I was in what I would consider, I can't say a toxic situation, but a situation that made me toxic, a situation that impacted my mental state of mind. I've never had to be with a man because I need a man, and because I needed what he offered and provided, so I had to deal with whatever circumstances came with him until that time, which brought upon a lot of confusion for me. And in that, it caused me to alter myself, and I started doing things that I would never really do. And I started to break down little by little because I was offering myself to situations that ultimately were taking away from my soul and my spirit, because I was in need. It's so many things that I regret. And I just want to say shout out to the women that chose to harm. You women have a certain type of tenacity that all of us don't have. I didn't have that tenacity. I was scared of being in the world with a child and not being married. That was something I couldn't have dealt with. I didn't know what that reality would look like. There's resources out here for you. If you're with child and the man is not supportive, there's solutions for women out there. I just wish that I could turn back the hands of time, because things would be different. I just wish that I had at least one older woman at the time to rely on and talk to, because things would be different. Yeah, I got women in my life, but that don't mean that they're always the ones that I could have talked to about that situation. I didn't have nobody at the time. Don't give a man the same power that God has. You don't give a man that power. You have to be in control of yourself. You have to be in control of your child's life, your womb space. What you do with your womb space is something you have to deal with. Not that man, not him. And once again, this is not to bash nobody. This is just me telling my story, because this is what it is. I want to say something else. I learned from my enemies. My enemies on YouTube. I have enemies on YouTube. I learned from them. I listen to them. They teach me things. I'm willing to read in between the lines, to say the least. What would it have been like for me to be a mother? What would it have been like for me to struggle? Would I have even struggled? I will never know. Because I never committed to the fact of being a mother. That it wasn't about no money. People say, oh, you chose money over bearing your child. No. I chose respecting the man that I created a child with. I respected his decision. Life is real. We go through things. It's not easy. It ain't always pretty. It ain't always fabulous. I cry just like you. I have bad days. I have rough weeks. And there's days that no amount of money can solve.
There's days that no amount of money can solve and resolve and heal my pain. And for me, this YouTube channel, regardless if I get 1 view, 10 views, 20 views, 10K views, more importantly, people love to see raw reality. And I think that's what this video is. Like, this week was not perfect. This video is all over the place and it's not perfect by any means. Y'all can think that a trip was me letting things go. It was me trying to move forward. It was me closing a chapter of my life I no longer wanted to be attached to, you know? And like I said, this week has been a long week, but all I know is I've been thinking about my womb space and what I've gone through and how important it is to share with other women. If you have a child in your stomach and you have a man that's unsupportive, protect your womb space, protect your child, because you don't know God's plan for that child. At the end of the day, don't put no man over what God has planned for you and your child and your seed. I'm still human at the end of the day, so. But you know, this was just a vent session. I have not been able to express myself and just get it all out. And this is still not me getting it all out. There's so much more I could say. I just wish I could turn back the hands of time. I really do. Because I would have never made that fucking decision. I would have never went along with the go along, regardless of what he said. So where I think I'm gonna leave it at, because I feel a little slight relief